One of the reasons I love soup is because you can basically put whatever you want in it, and it's a great tool to use up those leftovers. It's packed with a bunch of nutritional value. You have your electrolytes from the broth, you have all your different vitamins from the veggies, you got some protein if there's meat in it, or some beans. Soup comes in all shapes and sizes, but today we're going for a classic chicken noodle to help the world feel better during this coronavirus pandemic. So before we get started with our soup, I want to talk about mirepoix. Mirepoix is half onions, quarter celery, quarter carrots. Now, when cutting up your mirepoix, right, you want to make sure that the ingredients fit on the spoon. It's okay for them to be a little thick because they're going to be sitting in this soup, so if they're small, they might break down. It might, you don't want them to disappear. Now, when you're cutting those things up, this might look like a bowl of garbage over here, but this stuff is actually very useful for when you make your chicken stocks or your beef stocks or whatever. So I'm saving them. I'm not going to make stock today, so I'll probably put them in a big Ziploc bag or something and throw them in the freezer until I'm ready to make stock. Third up, I have my herbs. So I have oregano in here, but I also have a lot of parsley, and I also had some rosemary and sage in my fridge, so I chopped those up and I put those in there too. The other thing, obviously in chicken noodle, is the noodles. So right now I'm using this tri-colored pasta because that's what I have again. You could add a roux to this recipe if you wanted to make it a little thicker, but also something to think about, the starches from the noodles, because you shouldn't be rinsing off your pasta. That will also help add a little viscosity to your soup. So, and of course, we're seasoning throughout this process, always tasting, adjusting. That's one of the things that's really going to elevate your cooking, is make sure you're tasting while you're cooking. Because if you're not tasting, you're never going to know what you need to fix until it's too late. So, the first thing you're going to want to do is you want to get your chicken. Alright, I'm using chicken thighs because chicken thighs don't dry out, whereas chicken breast inside a soup, they're going to dry out, they're going to pull apart, but that dark meat, that extra fat, is really going to stay nice and juicy. Alright, so now we're going to cook the chicken. Hopefully this hot plate works. Alright, so first I'm going to melt my fat. So again, always put meat away from you so you don't burn yourself. So I'm going to let this cook until it's about 60% through, and then I'll flip it over. Alright, so now I'm going to flip them over. There's some good color on there. All that on the bottom of the pan is going to add some really good flavor to our soup. Alright, so once our chicken thighs are done cooking, we're going to put them over to the cutting board, and we're going to let them rest. And we don't want to cut these right away because all the juices will come out. So we'll just wait until the end to chop them up before we put them in the soup. So I'm going to put in the mirepoix, and that's going to take up a lot of the pot. I like a lot of veggies in my soups. We're going to cook that down before we add in some herbs. I'm actually going to cover it for a couple seconds. Look at all that beautiful color. And I'm just going to add some salt and pepper before I continue. So the salt's really going to help draw out the flavor, and also the water from the onions and the celery and the carrots. Whenever I'm cooking, I also like to use fresh ground pepper. When the peppercorns, if you buy pre-ground pepper, it loses a lot of its flavor. But if you have the peppercorn not cracked, and then you go and you crack it with the grinder, all the oils are still inside the peppercorn, and you get a really robust flavor, where you don't really get that with pre-ground pepper. So now that my onions and stuff are getting nice and translucent, I'm gonna add in my herbs. Okay, so my veggies are looking nice and cooked down. Alright, the onions look translucent around the edges. So now I'm going to add in my white wine. When you add in the white wine, add it down the side, don't add it in the middle, and you really want to scrape the bottom of the pot with a spoon to help get those spawns off. Alright, those spawns are the little caramelized bits of mirepoix and like chicken and all that fun stuff on the bottom. That's where all the flavor is. So I'm going to reduce this by about half before I add in my stock. While my soup is simmering and cooking down, I'm going to cut up my chicken for adding it back in. Always remember, bite-sized pieces. So I'm cutting them that big, and make sure that it fits on a spoon. It's okay to check. Got a spoon right here. I know it's gonna fit on my spoon. It's a good size. Also note, I have a towel underneath my cutting board. It's a damp towel. It's actually helping to absorb some of the chicken juice that's coming off. But also, it keeps my cutting board from sliding around. So this way, as I'm cutting, the cutting board won't slip and I won't cut myself. So we move back to the stove. We're cooking down the wine still. We're almost there, and then we'll add our stock and add our chicken back in, and the noodles, and then we'll be done. It's quick and easy. Make sure, and we'll also taste it and make sure it doesn't need any more salt or pepper. Okay, so we're looking pretty cooked down. It's definitely about halfway. That's what we want. smells amazing right now. But when Mirepoix cooks, I feel like it always smells like Thanksgiving dinner. I love it. Alright, I'm gonna add back in my chicken and put in my stock. That's it. So 2 quarts of stock. After you put the stock in, let your soup simmer for about 20 minutes before you serve it. This is going to allow the flavors to really develop into the soup. And actually tomorrow, after your soup has sat for a day, that's when the flavors will really be all mixed together and it'll taste even better than it did the first day. Okay, so I'm going to let that simmer for 20 minutes and then I'm going to serve it with the noodles, and I'll probably quart the rest up for later, but for now I'm really excited about it. This goes great with some grilled cheese, and you could always use that sourdough you made to make that, or just some toast to dip into it. It's going to be a great dinner. Okay, so make sure you try your soup and adjust the seasoning if you need to adjust the seasoning. It tastes really good. So I'm going to keep it like that. And next I'm going to add it to a bowl with some noodles and dig in. Alright, now the soup's done. Looks delicious. Thanks for watching. Cool. Super hot. Baby, gotta come try the soup.